All right, now we are talking comparatives and superlatives. And I think it may sound like a pretty basic idea here. Generally, what you're going to do is sometimes you're going to put adjectives or modifiers into a comparative form. Sometimes you're going to put them into a superlative form. You're going to use the comparative form when you're comparing just two things. And the regular form of that comparative is to add ER to the end, like the word smarter. All right. Some words that require less or more rather than the ER, like less intelligent. So those are kind of the regular forms, and sometimes we have some irregular forms of the comparative. Least, most, better, worse. So you've got to work those in where the words necessitate it. Now, if you're comparing three or more things, you've got to move to the superlative form. And the regular form of the superlative is to add EST to the end. So instead of smarter, smartest. Instead of less intelligent, least intelligent. And those irregular forms shift as well to least, most, worst, and best. So that's really basic, and sometimes it seems a little bit intuitive, but there can be times where we get caught up on these. So let's take a look at some examples. Here in this sentence, we've got Rachel is a better student than her brother. She goofs off less and studies more. Now everything looks good here. The first thing I'm going to do to make sure I'm okay is to check how many things are being compared. So I've got Rachel, and I've got her brother. I've got two things, which means this should be in the comparative form. So we have better with that ER on the end, we're good there. And then we've got less and more, we're good there. The next example, if we wanted to take this to the superlative form, we'd say Rachel is the best student in her family. She goofs off the least and studies the most. So now we're looking at how many people are being compared. We've got Rachel, but when we compare it to a group, her family, we're no longer at two, we're at more than two. So we've got to go to the superlative form. And we're good here because we have best, and then we've moved this to least and most. So that's how it works in the basics. Let's take a look at some fill in the blanks here. Of all the people in the classroom, the teacher is by far the older or the oldest. Let's take a look. So we've got the things being compared. The teacher, and that teacher is being compared to all the people in the classroom. We know that that's more than two people, so we've got to fill this in with the superlative. It should be by far the oldest. This one, and I think this is the easiest one to make a mistake on. It's the tallest or taller of the three buildings. I'm kind of inclined to say taller, but when I look at this, I see that I've got three buildings that are being compared. Now, three is definitely more than two, which means I've got to go superlative, and I've got to say it's the tallest building out of the three. So basically, to remember your comparative and superlatives, the big trick is to check your numbers. Always go back, figure out how many things are being compared, and then from there you can make the best decision.